Welcome to the Rise and Thrive Revolution, the podcast for empowered women seeking growth, spiritual wisdom, and holistic well-being. I'm Victoria, a body confidence coach and the founder of Empower Her Health and Fitness. And I'm going to be your guide on this journey to rebel against the norms that society have told you to lead, to live a life filled with joy and purpose. So join me in each episode as we dive into empowering conversations on everything from embracing change, building resilience, to health, nutrition, and overall wellness. Because true empowerment begins with taking care of your mind, body, and soul. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Let's get ready to rebel against the ordinary and embark on a transformative journey together. Let's get ready to rise and thrive.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Rise and Thrive Revolution. Today we're talking about something that might hit close to home for a lot of you, and that is the all or nothing mentality. You know that feeling where, like, if you can't do it all, then you just don't bother doing it at all. And that is a mindset that literally holds so many people back, and it is exhausting. Now, if you've ever heard of the UFC champion Ronda Rousey talk, she made this phrase famous: don't be a do-nothing bitch. She describes it as someone that relies on others and never takes action for themselves. And I think this is the all or nothing mindset. I think that turns us into that. People who are hold back because they feel like they can't give 100%, so they give zero. So today we're going to be diving into why that happens, how it affects your life, and most importantly, how to break out of it. Because we're not here to be do-nothing bitches, are we? So we're here to rise and thrive. So the all or nothing mentality, I talk about this all the time, with people when they join the gym or when they start on a new health regime with myself, when they're having coaching with me and some of the practices that I introduce, it's like, okay, I need to do them all. And if I can't do them all, then I need to stop, so it's literally like going to Tesco and saying, oh, I can't eat all the food, so I might as well not go to Tesco. Because people think, oh, well, I can't go to the gym 5 times a week, so no point me going. And this really, really stops so much of things happening in our lives that, can lead to so much more joy and empowerment. It's like someone that says, I'm going to eat healthy this week, and their food slips up, so they abandon the effort completely because they think they've already failed because they've had one meal that wasn't okay and they weren't meant to be doing that. Or they say they're going to start on Monday and Monday goes to shit, so they don't start Monday, so they're like, well, I might as well not start now until next Monday. And it's like that all or nothing mentality. Just because you've got a busy week and you can only get to the gym once doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to the gym at all. Just going once, you're going once, that's okay. Just because something's happened, you've got a really busy week and you've not had time to sit down and meditate, doesn't mean you can't meditate for 3 minutes. That's okay. Just because it's not perfect. And, people are just we're so tied into trying to be perfect, and you don't need to be perfect. You're perfect exactly as you are. So yeah, it's just like a curious question, really. If you can think of a time that you felt like you didn't do something because you couldn't do it perfectly. I know I've definitely been there, and this all or nothing mentality definitely stems from perfectionism. If it's not 100% worth doing, it's not worth doing at all. Well, that's not always true, And there's a quote: perfectionism is self-abuse in the highest order, by Anne Wilson Scarf. And that is so true. Just because you can't do it perfectly or because it isn't the most optimal way of doing it doesn't mean there's no point. Like I said, it's like opening up Spotify and looking at it and going, well, I can't listen to all the albums, so I might as well cancel my subscription. No, you're just going to listen to one album today or one song today. And it's that viewing abundance as lack mentality. It's like, oh my God, there's so much available to me. I can't do all of it, so I might as well do none of it. It's like, no, you can just do one thing. It's literally like saying, there's too many countries in the world to visit, so what's the point in going on holiday? I can't visit them all. Trying to kind of just remove that perfectionism. And, perfectionism can lead to a lot of procrastination, avoidance, and ultimately just staying stagnant. It's like, well, if I'm going to do the thing, it needs to be perfect. If I'm going to start eating healthy, it needs to be I need to be getting up at this time. I need to be going to the gym, and then I need to be doing this. And because that's all the things that I need to do, instead of it just being, you know what, I'm just going to drink a pint of water this morning and everything else will fall into line. Instead of it trying to always be perfect, or, I want to meditate. Oh, well, I need to be on my cushion. I need to have lit a candle. I need to have burnt some sage. No, you can meditate in your car when you not while you're driving. Once you stop driving, you can meditate there. You can literally, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the most optimal way of doing it. You know, like the cost of doing nothing is, of having that perfectionism is burnout, So people go all in and they throw all the tools in the basket and they go to the point of burnout because they're giving 150% and they're collapsing and then doing nothing for long periods because they've burnt themselves out from it. I see it all the time with people. They go to start a fitness regime. So they're like, okay, I've joined the gym. I need to eat healthily. So they start day one, they wake up at 5 a.m. when they're used to getting up at 7 or something. So they get up at 5 a.m. to get to the gym for 6 a.m. They go to the gym. So they're completely changing their normal routine up here. Yeah. Completely changing the routine up. They're going to the gym. They're suddenly prepping their meals. They're drinking more water. They're doing all the things. They're trying to get more steps in at lunchtime and they're going for a walk after. Like, these are none of the things that they used to do. They used to do none of it. And then they go to the gym. They start going to the gym at 6 a.m. They start trying to drink more water. They start changing their diet. They start going for a walk at lunchtime. They're going for a walk in an evening. They start stretching at night. Then they go to the gym and it's too much. It's too much for you to hold. And this is why you end up burning out or quitting because you like, well, I missed the gym yesterday. So what's the point in me doing my steps? Whereas actually, if you looked at it in a way, where it's just tiny, tiny steps, you're going to be able to hold that a lot more. And that's why we encourage ladies when they first start coming to us, we say the first week, just come twice, just 2 sessions in that first week, 2 sessions and drink a bit more water if you need to, is going to be enough. 1, you're going to be stiff. 2, you're shaking up your routine and you need to build it slowly so that it's more achievable. And that's all you need to do in the first week. The second week you might then come to 3 sessions or you might start eating breakfast. There's different things for everyone, but there are actually studies out there that show that burnout is a major cause of disengagement both at work and in personal goals. And that's from the World Health Organization. So, it's about not being perfect and not worrying if you are doing it right or doing it wrong or doing some of it or doing none of it. And, this is what leads to inconsistent progress. So when you go from 0 to 100 and then you go back to 0, like your progress is inconsistent, right? You've either got it switched on or you're switched off. But that middle ground, that slow, steady, sustainable path is where real growth happens, where you are building these small habits one step at a time. Like, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting up earlier. Okay, I'm going to get up earlier for 3 days this week. Next week, I'm going to get up earlier 3 days and I'm going to go to the gym twice. I'm going to get up, you're building this because as soon as something becomes a habit, it becomes the norm. So when taking a different route home to go to the gym at night isn't the norm, then it's not a habit until it's just like, oh my God, it's more abnormal to go straight home than it is to drive via the gym. And that's where we want to build. You want to build, you don't think about brushing your teeth in the morning. You get up and brush your teeth because at some point your parents probably said to you, brush your teeth, and you moaned, I don't want to do it. And you did it. And then you started brushing your teeth. Now you don't think about brushing your teeth. It just is. You just get up and you brush your teeth. And if you don't brush your teeth, it feels weird. It's just a normal thing. And it's the same like driving. It's all part of the subconscious. You don't think about changing gear. You don't think about how you drive. You just drive. You know what to do because it's become that so natural, and if we were going to use that kind of description, it'd be like saying, well, I can't drive an F1 car, so why am I bothering to drive? Like, no, it's okay. We're building up. And there's so many I can use, like, oh, I can't buy a mansion, so what's the point in buying a house? I want the mansion, so I'm not going to buy the smaller house. Why would I do that? And this is self-sabotage. This mindset often leads to self-sabotage. Like, you fall off track. It's easier to think, well, I've messed up, might as well quit. And yeah, an interesting fact for you, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT, this targets the all or nothing thinking because it leads to self-defeating behaviors. So trying to understand where this pattern comes from, where this belief that you need to be doing everything perfectly or all of it to be able to be doing it at all. So what do? Well, you need to shift your mindset from to progress over perfection. So embracing the imperfection, embracing the journey, embracing the fact that you slept through your alarm and you didn't get up, embracing the fact that, it's new that you're starting to try and read more books and you only read 3 pages. Like, it's okay. You don't have to finish the book. It doesn't have to be everything. And the research shows that people who aim for a good enough consistently achieve more than those who seek perfection. So just aiming for, one of the things that I like to use with my clients is the Reiki principles. And there's a Reiki principles, and one of the Reiki principles is just for today. So what if just for today you ate a healthy meal? Just for today you went to the gym? Just for today you drank more water? Like, it just has to be just for today. It doesn't have to be, I'm doing this forever. Just for today, I'm just going to drink more water. That's it. Just for today. And it's like, instead of thinking in fitness, like exercise, I haven't got time for a 60-minute workout, so there's no point doing 10 minutes. Well, yes, do 10 minutes, because just for today, do 10 minutes exercise. Instead of doing, you haven't got time for 60, it's still progress. You're still making progress towards your goals. You're still moving your body and making it feel good and getting fitter. And if one of your, goals is to be more empowered and start, speaking your truth and not feeling scared to step into your own lane, step out of the ordinary, then maybe just for today you say no to someone that asks for something that you just don't want to give. Maybe it's your time, maybe it's your energy. Just for today, just say no. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like, oh, well, then I need to be going home and telling all the things, just for today. So yeah, back to, small wins are going to help you progress. So just breaking down your goals into small actionable steps, and then each win will build momentum, increase motivation. So let's say one of the things you want to start doing is you want to drink more water, you want to meditate, and you want to start going for more walks. So what can you do? You can drink more water just for today. You can just have a little bit more water. So perhaps the goal would be, I'm going to meditate twice this week. I'm going to set aside 2 times this week to meditate. You put it in your diary. At 5 p.m. on this day, I am meditating for 10 minutes. And at 7 p.m. on this day, and you just have 2 days that you meditate. Really achievable, super achievable. You've put it in your diary. I can do that. You achieve it. The next week, maybe you can add an extra day in, And it's about making these really, really small wins. Like I said, if you throw everything into the toolbox, you're setting yourself up for failure, because one, the nervous system needs to learn to hold it. So when we're changing something, the nervous system, I've said before on another podcast, the nervous system will always choose an familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. So even though we're making progress towards ourselves feeling better, the nervous system's going to go, whoa, I'm not used to this. What's going on? And it will always magnetize you back to where you were, to the vibration that you're at. So the vibration that you want to be at is this healthier version that goes to the gym, that walks, that meditates, that reads books, that puts their phone down at night. There's these small little steps that you're vibrating towards. And instead of doing them all, it's like, I'm putting my phone down from 7 p.m. And then you can build up. I'm putting my phone down from 6:30, whatever it is, and just building these small manageable steps. This is called habit stacking. I can really recommend a book called Atomic Habits, and it is a brilliant book, and it teaches you all about habit stacking, how just making one habit one day for a week and then adding another habit for the next week is habit stacking, and just building these things up. Like I said, you start with the water for a week, and then the next week maybe you start with eating breakfast, and then the next week you start by meditating you're getting up earlier to meditate twice a week for 10 minutes, and then the next week you get up earlier 4 times. You just keep building these habits, instead of trying to go, I'm getting up an hour earlier, just get up 10 minutes. Then when you get used to that, get up 20 minutes and just keep moving it. There is another quote here for you, like, the success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Talk to people about this all the time that I'm helping with business. Like, just because you've done one post on Instagram and not many people liked it, only your mum, doesn't mean that you stop posting. You've just got to keep plodding away, keep moving the needle, keep making these small little changes, which are going to make a massive, massive impact to you and your life. Small steps make big progress. You don't run up the mountain to get to the mountain. You take small steps to get up the mountain. You look at it and you think, how am I going to do it? I'm going to plan it. I'm going to take these small steps. I'm going to camp at this stage, and you climb the mountain every day. You don't try and get to the mountain, up to the top of the mountain in one day. And it's like, if you want to write a book, you don't write the book in a day. You might write 500 words a day or a week to start with. instead of waiting for the perfect day to be able to write for 8 hours straight, and I know this is something I'm really guilty of, I wanted to set a podcast up since 2020, and I kept telling myself I couldn't because I didn't have the perfect place to do it. I didn't have the perfect background. I didn't really know fully how to record the podcast. I didn't have all these like things available to me, like Vic, just record podcast. And my first episode, I recorded in my bedroom on my mobile phone. I just held my mobile phone and I recorded my first podcast. That's how I did it in the end. I was like, okay, you don't need all the things. And I still catch myself now because I'm trying to deliver this with a video element. This is a little bit of a barrier for me because I want to make sure I'm somewhere where, you know, the background's nice and the lighting's good because it needs to, so you guys can see me. But actually I put that up as a barrier because sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And you know, it's not true. I could just record it and it could be without the video or shit background. No one cares, you know? So we're going back to the do nothing bitch mentality. And yeah, Ronda Rousey, who's a famous quote, the do nothing bitch is someone who doesn't take actions or make decisions because they're too afraid or reliant on others, you know? And it's so, so true. You know, we're all out there, you know, like I said, you can get to the point where you do nothing and then you become a do nothing bitch. So you're gonna do all the things. You've got this big list of things that you want to do, but you can't do them at all. So you do nothing, and you become a do nothing bitch. And we ain't do nothing bitches here. If you're listening to this, I know that you're not a do nothing bitch. So looking at ways to just add those little habits in, you know, I was speaking to one of my clients the other day because, you know, I have many different things that I recommend in the morning, and that is waking up, drinking water and lemon with a bit of salt in, ginger shot, grounding barefoot, bit of stretching, breath work, meditation. Some people recommend like listening to something inspiring, maybe a bit of music and dance, a bit of like, there's a lot of things, right? Now, there's hundreds of things that you can do in the morning. It's going to make your day go really good and really well, and you're going to feel good. However, is it realistic for you to be able to do them all? Probably not. And I had this with a client recently. She was like, oh, there's just so much to do and I just don't know how to do it. I'm trying to read these books, trying to listen to these podcasts. I'm trying to get up in the morning and do all this stuff. And I'm just not managing to do it. I'm like, you don't need to meditate in the morning. You know, you can meditate at lunchtime. If you get up a bit late and you just drink a glass of water, it's okay. You just drink a glass of water and meditate at lunchtime. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, yes, there's benefits to meditating first thing in the morning. Benefits to meditating any time of the day. Doesn't really matter. Your body doesn't care as long as you're meditating and you know when you've got time for it, because nothing worse than sitting down to meditate when you know you've only got 10 minutes and meditation is 10 minutes and you know that the phone's going to ring or whatever it is. You're not relaxing, are you? You know, you need space. And yeah, so Ronda Rousey made this quote famous, like, don't be a do nothing bitch, DNB. I don't know if anyone remembers it, like, don't be a DNB. And she was a former UFC fighter and Olympic medalist, and she said it in an interview to express her philosophy on life and empowerment. Rousey explained that a do nothing bitch is someone who relies on others for everything and doesn't take control of their life or future. She used the phrase to encourage women to take charge, be strong, go after what they want, emphasizing independence and self-reliance, and it became a symbol of her personal strength and resilience. And yeah, I want you to take that away with you. I don't want you to be a do-nothing bitch. I don't think you are, if you're listening to this, but I've definitely slipped into a do-nothing bitch, you know. I could have been recording this podcast since 2020. I could have been making small steps towards my goal since 2020 with this podcast, growing the community, getting more people to listen to it. Where would I be at now? I might be at 1 million downloads if I'd started in 2020, like when I first thought about it. But I was a do nothing bitch and I didn't do it because I kept putting barriers in the way. Oh, I can't record every week. I could have just done one podcast a month. It wouldn't have mattered. It's one a month. Oh, I can't do it every week. So why am I doing it? So yeah, I've really had to, work on this myself. And I used to call myself a do nothing bitch. Stop being a do nothing bitch, Vic. Stop doing it because I'm choosing to stay stuck instead of taking control. So yeah, I want to ask you to ask yourself, like, where in your life are you holding yourself back because of this kind of thinking? Like, and what action can you take to shift that today? If I can't be the best at it, then why bother? No, you don't need to be the best. You just need to be doing it. So yeah, overcoming this all or nothing thinking, like we said, start with small manageable goals, break tasks down into smaller steps, something that you can do for today. And there's a fact that people who focus on small, measurable goals are more likely to reach their long-term goals. Like I mentioned earlier, like instead of committing to working out every day, maybe start with 2 weeks and just build from there. Consistency over intensity. So instead of focusing on doing it all perfectly, focus on showing up regularly. Success comes from consistent actions over time. And this is in relationships, this is in business, this is in health, this is in fitness. They all thrive on consistency, on being consistent. Now, if I didn't consistently post on Instagram, if I didn't consistently advertise Empower Her, if I didn't consistently let people know that I am hosting workshops, then people aren't going to know about it. But I've consistently let people know over time. I'm growing and consistently taking new people into the business, or consistently taking steps towards my goals, that it's become what it is. If I'd quit because it wasn't perfect, because I was comparing myself to others, or I didn't sign 10 people up, I only got one person through the door this month, then I wouldn't be anywhere. And it's these small steps with everything we take. Some days when I first started meditating, I could barely do 60 seconds. And if I'd quit, I wouldn't be, feeling how I feel now, which is a lot more calm. My window of tolerance is bigger. Stuff doesn't bother me as much. My health is better because of meditation. It's focusing on doing it. Instead of focusing on doing it perfectly, just focus on being consistent. And there's another quote I love for you here is, you are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. And just be kind to yourself when you don't hit 100%. Life isn't black and white, and your progress shouldn't be either. Just if things aren't going to plan, and if you haven't achieved what you set out to do, just be kind to yourself about it. It's okay. Like, I get it. You didn't do it. It's okay. We're just going to do this one small step. I was meant to be going for a walk today for 10,000 steps, but I haven't done it. So why don't I just walk around the garden 5 times instead? Like, it's okay. You've had a busy day. Like, sending yourself love instead of that, oh God, why didn't you do it? You're so silly. And I'm guilty of this. Days are the day that I do a lot of admin. And I always say I'm going to go for a walk on a Tuesday. And honestly, I don't very often do it. And I've been guilty before, going, oh, what have you actually achieved today, though? You've been on your laptop. If you'd gone for a walk, you would have got more done. Well, it's okay, Vic. You got hyper-fixated and focused on something that probably wasn't that great, but it's okay. You did it, and you got through the day, and you've got loads done, and just sending yourself a bit of compassion. So, I want you to ask yourself to think about one area of your life where you are being an all or nothing, a do nothing bitch. Where is the all or nothing mindset holding you back? And what can you do to take one imperfect, small step forward today? So whether that's going for a 10-minute walk, writing 100 words, clearing 20 emails out of your email inbox, because I know that it's building up, or just tackling a small task that you've been putting off, Vinted. Like, I have a bag of clothes that I've built through this now, that I was like, I'm going to put them on Vinted, and I just kept putting one item on every day. I was like, one item until the bag is now gone and it's all nearly been sold. Just trying to find these little small tasks and just do it. So, and just remember to yourselves that you don't have to do it all to make progress. You just have to do something. So go out there and stop being a do nothing bitch. So thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate you being here. When people message me, I absolutely always get back to everyone. I love hearing from you. So please let me know what you thought about today's episode, any subjects you'd like me to cover. I'd love to know more about yourselves and what it is that you enjoy listening to, so we can really build this community together, and I can really deliver some insightful wisdom for you. And I'm super excited about next week's podcast. We have got Ju coming up as a guest. She's a gorgeous friend of mine. I'm so excited for you to listen and connect with her. And I hope you've got something from today. I hope that you've really enjoyed it. I hope that you continue to make small progress towards your goals. If you are looking for someone to empower you and to unfuck your life and just to help you take that next step towards empowerment, towards being yourself, towards health and happiness, I am taking on 2 clients for one-to-one coaching. These are really rare spots. I don't take on one-to-one clients very often. So if you are interested in having some one-to-one coaching with myself, where we work with things like emotional freedom technique, which is a tapping technique, where we will unpick and unblock any mindset hacks that's holding you back. And one of my favorite things is showing ladies how to step out of their spiritual closet and really connect to themselves and their soul, and to find joy and happiness through the little things in life. Then I'd love to hear from you. So thank you again for listening. And
so thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Rise and Thrive Revolution. I just want to express my gratitude for you listening, because you put yourself out there, and it means a lot that people are spending their time listening to what you've got to share. So I truly, truly hope you got something from it and you found some inspiration for your journey. Now, I'm just going to invite you to take a moment, if you can, to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you're listening on Spotify, you can give me 5 stars. Of course, my inbox is open if you want to send a review via my inbox, or just let me know what you thought, any questions you've got. I'd love to hear from you. If you do want to follow me on social media, it's Empowered by Victoria. If you want to follow the gym I own, empowerher.health.fitness. We are a female-only community who are here to transport and inspire women on an empowering journey. So thanks again for listening. Until next time, let's rebel against the ordinary. Let's get ready to rise and thrive.